Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Programming with a Purpose. So we are continuing with the SwiftData series. In this part I am going to discuss SwiftData macros and the different keywords of SwiftData that we can use to create different queries and filter the data and create different relationships between the entities. So let's get started. So we are continuing with our recipe book app that we have created in the previous videos of SwiftData. Please go back if you haven't watched those and copy the code from there, and we are going to make changes to that code. So here we are adding some of the variables inside the content view. One of it is bool is favorite, which is going to tell us that we want to load a view for all the recipes or for our favorites. And another is the predicate that will help us to filter the favorites. So it is mentioned as hash predicate, and it is basically called for the class recipe, and the condition is basically if the reactions of that recipe are either is bookmarked or is liked. Another variable that I am creating is basically the recipe favorites, which is going to contain all the recipes that are marked as favorite, and we have mentioned it as the rate of state because it is going to be continuously changed when we mark or demark a recipe as a favorite or bookmark. So the next step is basically make changes to the view of content view, in which we have the create recipe button is basically contained inside a check that if is favorites is not loaded, we are going to display this button. In favorites tab we will not be able to display this button. And for each where we are iterating all the recipes, here is favorite is basically checked. If the is favorite is marked as true, then we are going to load the recipes from recipe favorites. Otherwise we are going to load all the recipes that we have created using the macro add query. Now I am writing few of the function definitions inside content view. One is return UI image, which is going to basically return a blank image in case there is no image that can be loaded. This is to avoid the case that when we are going to run the app, if the image cannot be loaded, the app crashes. So to avoid that, I have added this code that in case of a nil image, it is going to basically fetch the no photo image from assets and going to return it. Another function that we are going to add to content view is delete items, which is basically triggered when we are going to swipe left or right on an item inside a list. So a recipe is to be deleted. We are going to use the function model context.delete to delete those recipes, and those will be deleted permanently from our basically data. Another function is basically get favorites, which is going to load our favorites view. It has the descriptor, which is basically a fetch descriptor based on the class recipe, and the predicate is the one that we have already created, and it is sorted by the recipe name. You can sort it by any of the basically variable of your class recipe. And after that we are going to basically try model context.fetch, which is going to fetch data based on this descriptor and populate it in the recipes array, which we are going to pass to recipes favorites. Now in the view of content view, we are adding two of the functions. One is basically on the swiping of the list item, which is on delete, and the function that is called is delete item. and another one get favorites is called on the appearance of this view with dot on appear. Now another change in the variables of recipe class is done basically to make the ID and name as optional, because previously these two values were not optional. We have to make it optional, because if we do not do this change, then when a recipe is deleted and we move back and forth between the views, the basically view is going to crash. So we need to make it optional. So fixing some of the issues with the optional variable recipe.name inside the code in content view. So here we are making the change inside the recipe book app file, and what we are doing is basically creating a tab view with two content views. One is basically a normal view where is favorite is passed as false, and then another one is a favorites view in which is favorite is passed as true, and image and a text is set for both these tabs. So when I'm going to play the code is going to crash at line number 81. This is due to the reason that I've written a function return UI image, which I'm going to place it here now. After deleting a function and moving back to the favorites tab, an error occurred, so I have fixed it on line number 86 with adding a double question mark and basically an empty string in case a recipe.name returns nil. So here I'm setting up the relationship as cascade with the reactions, so that if any of the delete operation is performed on a recipe, its corresponding reactions are also deleted. So now the code is successfully compiled, and when I'm going to run it, I'm going to add 3 of the recipes. One is basically biryani, another one is Chinese recipe, which is chow mein, and the third one is samosa, which is also a Pakistani cuisine. So all of these 3 are added, and we are going to basically test certain aspects of the app now. Now we are testing the functionality of the app, which is basically as we move to the favorites tab, there is no recipe there. We are going to mark biryani as favorite and chow mein as favorite. And now both of these recipes will appear in favorites with their name alphabetically sorted. Now we move to the alls tab and mark samosa as favorite too. We move to favorites and we have all the three basically recipes as favorites. We are going to demark chow mein as favorite, and we are going to move to the alt tab, and we are going to delete biryani. Now biryani is not only from deleted the all tab but also from the favorites tab. Samosa is deleted, and now the favorites tab is empty. So it means that the relationship cascade is working properly, in which if a recipe is deleted, so the corresponding entry inside the reactions is also deleted. So guys, this is all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed learning SwiftData macros with me. So we have basically explored the predicate macro and the relationship macro, as well as the fetch descriptors and the sort by variable, that how we are going to basically sort a data based on a certain field inside a class. So this is all. Do not forget to like this video and share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to do one more video basically explaining other concepts of SwiftData. You can give me some suggestions inside the comment section that which parts of the SwiftData you want me to explore. So this is all. Thank you for watching.